Good morning. It's 9:01 a.m. That must be a new start time for me now, huh? October 13th, 2023. Friday the 13th in October, which was the same date. Oh, hush up. Same day of the month, the same month, and the same day of the week of my parents' wedding anniversary. And because it was Friday the 13th and they got married in a mortuary, they celebrated every Friday the 13th as their wedding anniversary. So they were married for more years than the number, they had more anniversaries than the number of years they were married. Yeah, I got a few things today. Now, I received an email from a person in the community. It's a little unclear to me because they did a little bit of editing on that, whether it's okay for me to show that identify the person, because I can just read the email without identifying the person by name on a phishing email. So I'm hoping in chat we'll find out if it's okay to identify that person by name. And actually, what I'd like to do is show the email without exposing the email address. Otherwise, I'll just tell the story. And I have another story to show and coincidentally, I didn't know this until I went checking on Kerry Holzman's show for today, which I'm going to do a redirect to, is that yesterday he has this live enthusiast professional technician take this test. He's got an HP computer here that won't boot, and it's got this black screen repairing disk errors. This computer, when my client brought it to me, it sounded like the same thing. So they just got a black screen, it won't boot. Said something about repairing. They didn't get a good look at it. So I thought it was going to be the same thing. Well, I did a little prep for it yesterday, and I have a video to play for you. What is going on there? Okay, that was a little weird. The screen's just blinked on me. I thought I was losing it. Okay, and Selden Ball in chat says it's okay for me to identify him. So I'm going to start with that because that's going to be quicker than getting into this computer here. And I just double checking here, make sure there's nothing exposed. Right. Okay, so here we go. Selden, thank you, sent me this email. I thought you might be slightly amused by this example of a fish. You may include it in your show if you want. Zoom in a little bit more. I've recently been uploading some AI artwork generated by Microsoft's implementation of DALL-E3 usable at bing.com create. I guess, is that using the E3 version of Microsoft Office to the artwork site DeviantArt? I'm sure you can imagine my shock and horror, that sarcasm, when I received a phishing message, by the way, of their internal email system. So an email system internal to this AI product or the artwork site. It purports to be a job recruitment offer from Kabam Games, what a name, who are based in Vancouver, BC, Canada, but wants me to download a file from a site in Congo, country code CF. Right, more sarcasm. I think I've redacted all of my personally identifiable information from this attached screen grab. I've left that of the perpetrator, so the personally identifiable information of the perpetrator, because that's his real name, of course. The perpetrator is giving his real name. I've reported it to DA's ticketing system. So DA is, I guess, this one, DALL. But I don't know how effective that'll be. So here's the phishing message he received. It's from Giovanni Pieri. That's believable. That's the perpetrator's real name, right? Dear such and such. And I think it's blocked out his username on their account. Your work truly impressed our team. Kabam Games brings you to develop a new product. Wait a minute. Your work truly impressed our team. Kabam Games brings you to develop a new product. Open positions: junior, middle, senior, 2D artist, junior, middle, senior, 3D artist, senior, middle, concept artist, art director, lead artist, senior, middle, UI artist. Please review the file showcasing examples of our company's products. This will give us insight into your qualifications and capability with our company's work. Download, and it has this URL here. And if somebody with a virtual computer, or somehow if you've got a very protected system, if you want to go explore that, I suppose you could copy that out. It looks like it's the whole link. Please note that the attached file is confidential, can only be opened on a computer. That's a different one. Confidential and can be only opened on a computer. Confidential, do not release to anyone else. Do not forward. Do not. No, we're saying confidential, you can only open it on a computer. Reply here for to apply. So a little bit of grammar troubles in here, but that's quite believable. So I haven't seen that one before, so thank you for that. And let's get over to chat. And so that was Selden Ball. He said, yes, it's okay to identify him. Now, let me go on this computer that's behind me. I have a video that I recorded yesterday. You can tell because that's the Thursday shirt that I'm wearing. And this video is almost 13 minutes long, and it is cut down from a longer video. During this video, I actually play another video. So that's a little weird. I'm going to make this big screen, and that's going to explain to you what happened with that computer. I thought that was going to be a troubleshooting experience for today. And you'll note my tone of disappointment as you watch this video. And I'm going to turn on the, give me some yeses in chat if you can hear the audio okay. I'll be watching the chat over on this screen. I'm going to mute my microphone. Behind me, let's see there, I've got trying to not give away too much. I got a computer that was brought to me at 3:11 this afternoon. Right now, as you can see down in the bottom right corner of my screen, it's 4:14. Well, I wasn't planning to fix it before tomorrow morning's show, but it is fixed. And here's this, the computer itself, Windows up and running. So now, what happened? The report that they told me was that 2 days ago, Tuesday morning, Barbara went to turn it on and it would not come on. She just had a black screen. There was some kind of message about it. It was probably said something about repair or rebuilding or something like that. Just kept running and running and running and never got into Windows. I asked if she saw any messages about Windows updates. And at that point, we hadn't pinned this down to Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning was Update Tuesday. So I was suspecting there was something went wrong with Windows updates. Is that the case? Maybe, maybe not. So I figured what I would do, since she said it was running for a long time, is I would capture what was happening on video so that I could report that to my audience during the live show on tomorrow, Friday, October 13th. Oh, Friday the 13th. How about that? In October. My parents' wedding anniversary, by the way. So let's get into showing you the video that I recorded. I'm turning my picture-in-picture off. There's a picture-in-picture of when I was working on it. I did not have my studio lights turned on at the time because I wasn't expecting that I'd wind up playing this for you. So the computer is already on. Well, I think you just saw me bend down and press the power button to turn it on. And it does this for quite a while, no signal. This video is 24 minutes in length. And by the end of that 24 minutes, the computer is up and running. I'm going to drag this playhead forward a bit. You see me looking around at various things. I'm noticing, I think I must have turned the lights on here. You see me getting my stethoscope out because the computer is making a noise, a squeaking kind of noise. So I put the stethoscope on the hard drive, and I get the impression that it might be coming from the hard drive, but not sure. A little bit later here, I stick my head actually into the computer after looking at other fans and such, and I wind up concluding that it's the graphics card fan that's making the noise. I took the CD out of the drive thinking that might be making the noise. And then somewhere along here, this blue screen starts intermittently flashing up on a regular basis with that black bar across horizontally. And I think I just noticed it at this point. You see me kind of do a double take. So I'm realizing now that we might be actually getting something. I didn't see any messages come up on the black screen. So at this point, when I'm getting blue messages, I know that Windows is trying to launch. Now you see me take a piece of notepad paper or Post-it notes, and I'm sticking it into the fan on the back of the computer, trying to find where that noise is coming from, and it's not from either the case fan or the power supply fan. All of the fans are running below normal RPM. I can tell they're not running up to speed, but this is an older, lower capable computer. It's a Core i5 Intel. And so I know this computer is not going to be generating much heat. Slow running fans is not a big problem. And I'm just fussing around with these fans while it's still trying to start up. And at this point, we're 3.5 minutes into the video. I'm dragging the playhead forward now to see what else happens. And there I take a seat and waiting. I don't have my camera adjusted for a seated position. And my microphone was muted, so I don't do any talking during that video. Still scrubbing forward, still don't have a Windows boot. And I'm looking at the lights. At some point here, I'll look at the lights on the front of the computer. And I'm also going to look at the keyboard lights. Here we go, start looking at the keyboard. So here I've turned on my camera to show that the keyboard is responsive to the caps lock key. This is encouraging. My intention right now is I was just trying to capture the symptom and experience the symptom that the customer reported. So caps lock, num lock, and scroll lock, they all work. Of course, I don't have the mini Dougs adjusted to be positioned right. All of those lights are working. Now let's scrub forward some more, and I go back to show what's happening on screen, which is back to a black screen for a long time. Well, this is a part during Windows startup that's normal. And here I'm noticing the lights on the computer showing you the hard drive activity light, and it's showing that it looks like the computer is actually launching Windows. And indeed it is. I'll scrub forward, and then here I notice in a moment the Wi-Fi light is lit up. So that's even more encouraging. And here I think I'm gonna switch back to show you screen. Now I've got a spinning circle of dots. Windows is indeed trying to load. So what happened? I haven't done anything to fix the computer, the genius that I am. Then I see this message. Aha! We couldn't complete the updates. Undoing changes. Don't turn your computer off. Don't turn off your computer. Got to get that wording right. And so at this point, I'm figuring perhaps they were mistaken. Maybe they turned it on Wednesday morning, and it was trying to finish the installation of the updates, and she just didn't notice that message. I highly doubt if it failed to turn on Tuesday morning, I highly doubt that it was updates, because I haven't seen any computers install updates or attempt to install updates prior to being turned on Update Tuesday morning. So I'm guessing that may be the case, because originally she thought that when I asked, when did you discover the problem? Originally she said Wednesday morning. Then when I pointed out that Wednesday morning was yesterday morning, then she changed and said Tuesday morning. So I'm guessing that it was still a mistake in belief as to when this happened, and perhaps the computer was working through the day on Tuesday, downloaded the updates, she shut it off, and then when she turned it back on, it tried to install updates. Now, I asked if she ever saw any messages regarding updates, and she said no. Now, that could be just because she didn't notice it. But that message we just saw implies that, yes, indeed, it did try to install updates, and it's told us now that they have uninstalled updates. Now let's scrub forward, because this still takes a while. Now here it's going through a whole bunch of startup stuff. It is an older, slower computer, but when it's working fine, it's completely adequate for them. She said that she normally leaves the computer on all the time. Now I'm questioning. I didn't think to ask her about this, because she previously said she went to turn it on Tuesday morning. But then after that, she told me that she leaves it on all the time. And I thought that meant 24/7. Now here I continue observing what's going on with the computer. It's still not finished starting up. Here's Skype trying to auto launch. And I want to pause it there. Well, yeah, I'm going to take that off screen for a moment, because it's going to show his email address when it's trying to sign in to Skype, and I don't want to expose that just yet. It takes quite a while before it actually opens that Skype window. So here I've gone up to 1707, and it finally got away from that Skype window. So here it's doing some more startup. Avast is trying to start up. I already whoops, I'm not showing you that. Here's Avast starting to start up. And I already had the conversation with them about Avast. So there's a whole bunch of things that are happening here on startup that I don't think they're using. When I asked, how do you use the computer? What programs do you use? And they never mentioned Skype. So I think Skype is automatically launching just because that's one of the things that one of the Windows 10 updates did. Now coming up here at some point, I go into Task Manager to see what's going on. Oh, there's notifications that are coming up. We don't need that. We've got that search thing in the search field that slows the computer down, and these news notifications that slow things down. So we got 30%, 33% CPU, and it's bouncing around 50%, 54%. I'm scrubbing the video forward now. We see memory activity, we see disk activity. So there's a lot of things that we can do to speed up this computer with very little effort. So I'm thinking that's what I want to do next for them. And perhaps as part of the Saturday show, we'll go speed a whole bunch of things up. So I was thinking that I was going to do this video editing right now and publish it as a troubleshooting, but I really didn't do any troubleshooting. Here's this failed to install this update. So then I'm going to go back to update settings, scroll down to advanced options, and delay updates to the maximum possible. And then after turning off and disabling a whole bunch of things, I'll come back and run Windows updates and see if it will successfully install the current cumulative update and be operational moving forward. So here I'm at the end of that video, what I recorded. And so about an hour after they left from delivering the computer here, the computer is functional. My plan was to document the symptom as they reported it to me and then do an image backup and then do some troubleshooting during the live show. Oh, well, no troubleshooting opportunity here. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, did you sense my disappointment? Doggone it. Doggone it, the computer's working. Yeah. But there's a lot that we can do to it to speed it up for them. This came from a client, a contact through a client. It's Barbara works in the office of a client of mine, and this is her personal computer. So I told her about my YouTube channel, and she said, yes, you can use that on your channel, and that way she gets a free repair. Now the computer is older. Now I told you it's an i5 as though that tells you how old it is. No, it doesn't. You know, many of you know by the looks of it that this is an older HP computer. I didn't get around to looking what generation it is, but it's always working fine for them. Their uses are simple, and I know some of you are going to say the computer should be replaced. And I told them about Windows 11 coming up. They're going to need to get a new computer in the next couple of years. And I think actually I'm not, I might tell them about putting an SSD in to replace the hard drive, and it'll run faster. And I'll charge them for the drive if they want to do that. But they're completely satisfied with how it operates. The computer's on all the time, and the CPU utilization would be low after the computer is completely started up. And it's going to be even better about making these after making these changes. So let's go to chat room. All right, over here. I don't know if they're watching this morning. I gave them the information about my channel. They seemed interested. And I don't even know if they're available during the daytime. So turn the picture back on. And here, Brian Lightfoot. It's finally Friday. I got Friday on my mind because I got my Friday paycheck. I can't wait for Friday night because I'm just Friday's child. They call me Mr. Friday Night. Well, there's a whole lot of Fridays there. Is there some joke in there that I missed and didn't get? It's finally Friday. I've got Friday on my mind because I got my Friday paycheck. I can't wait for Friday night. Is that the lyrics to a song maybe? I don't know. Selden Ball, Rand Israel, Jeff Ryman, good morning from Las Vegas, the Busy Buggy Auto Repair Shop, waiting on an oil change, front brakes, rotors, pads, and spark plugs to the tune of $865. Hello, Alice, Jeff Ryman. Friday the 13th actually came Friday this time. Friday the 13th actually came Friday this time, and October. Friday the 13th happens more than once each year, less than twice each year. If you figure that, I'm not going to go through the math. I was going to go through all the math for you. I'm not going to go through the math. How often does, okay, I'll just ask it this way. How often do we hit a year where there is a Friday the 13th in October? Do that math. I double dug dare you. John Williams, TGIF, good morning, everyone. Selden was saying it's okay to show his email. Long Dog, by the way, that company DeviantArt about 12 years ago, they put out a very disturbing piece of wallpaper, well, hence the name Deviant. It's just an artist's perception of what they were perpetuating. Just kind of gave me the willies. And that picture I consider art because of what it makes a person feel. I wonder if I can dig it out. I wonder if I still have it. Maybe I can find an example for you guys. Selden Ball, no, Bing Create is not associated with Office. It's free to use by anyone with a Microsoft account. So that E3, there's a version of Office E3 that's enterprise. It's a higher level. That's why when it's had that E3, I was questioning. It's free to use by anyone with a Microsoft account. DA is shorthand for the art site DeviantArt. not for D all-E. Yeah, it had that number 3 after the E. So apparently that's not associated with the E3 version of Microsoft Office. Alice, on my Edge, it says your browser is managed by your organization. It's my home PC. I am confused. That indicates that when you signed into your Microsoft account, you joined. Is it possible that you have a business version of Microsoft Office managed by your organization? When you sign in to your Microsoft account, whether you're doing it just through Edge or just through Office, not necessarily through Windows, it asks a question: do you want to sign into this everywhere on your computer, meaning all the Microsoft software on your computer? And if you answer yes to that, you get a message, something to the effect of it's registering this device with Microsoft. And I think that's where you get managed by your organization. Not 100% clear on that. Your browser is managed by your organization. I think all that means is that you've signed into your Microsoft account, and that if you make adjustments to your Microsoft account online or from one of your other computers, it will affect the computer that you're on now. John Williams is saying yes, that's because you were able to hear the audio on that video I was playing. And Alice says she'll double check that about which version it is. And maybe I could, let's see, since I have an account that uses my own custom domain, I think that makes it a business account. Let's scroll back up to here. Rand Israel to Alice, that probably means you have some browser settings configured using group policy. I do not think that's what it means, because I have not used group policy on any of the computers where I see that. And Alice, if you could remind me, what do you click on to trigger that? Because I think I would be able to demonstrate that. You can hear the video where you're pointing back to yourself. Do you know how to turn it off? Yeah, I don't think it's group policies for you, Allison. In fact, I think you're using a home version of Windows, aren't you? Windows, I believe it's Windows 10. I think you have home rather than Pro, if I remember right. Jeff Tallis says, I get the same message. It's because I have an administrator account to install stuff, but I normally run from a standard account. I don't think that's what's causing that message, Jeff. Lawn Dog. By the way, Doug, yesterday Bing wallpaper was kind of interesting. Today's picture, I want to know where that picture is from. It looks like an old city. Well, if I come down here to the system tray icons, I know that's not the official word for it. Go click on the B for Bing. It shows it's Viesta on the Gorgano Peninsula. And if I click previous, I should be able to show what yesterday was. Old barn and canola field. That's not what I remember yesterday was. And then previous was, oh yeah, this painted hills in John Day Fossil, whatever. And that's this one was look pretty fascinating. So I did actually go look to see where that is coming from. And then when you click on that, you get more information about that image. It gives us more information here about that image. And it was actually in Colorado, Oregon. Yeah, I thought, wow, I could go there. Probably not going to. Then Israel, in gpedit.msc, turn everything related to Edge to not configured. So Windows key run gpedit MSC. Now, if you are Windows Home, you won't be able to get into Group Policy Editor. So he's saying, come into here, turn everything related to Edge to not configured. So let's see how we find that. I'm going to guess it's in user configuration, software settings. Nope, Windows settings, looking for something related to Edge. Where do we find that, Ran Israel? I'm going to give him a chance to tell us where to find that. Let's see, I got to get back to the bottom of the chat room. Let's see, Alice says, I clicked on settings, noticed when I went to update my browser. And that's in Edge. So I got to bring up Edge to demonstrate that. I think she said that was in Edge. Come into settings, update browser. Where is that even at? Am I seeing anything here about managed? Because I am signed in to my account. I should be able to find that message that she's getting. Manage security settings. I'm not seeing it here. Alice in chat says, I click on settings and noticed it when I went to update my browser. I never go in and manually update the browser, so where am I going to see that? Download updates over a metered connection. Edge is up to date, so I can't do the update. If she's using home, it's not a policy issue. Yeah, I don't think it's a policy issue because I've seen that on many computers, and I don't know where I see it because I just don't pay attention to it. And I believe it's related to, I know where I could demonstrate that. If I go into my Microsoft account, there should be a place here to get to it. Click on settings there, settings on, and I'll go to it this way, office.com. I do have a redirect set up for Carrie Holzman's show today. And I started to show that yesterday. He was showing that troubleshooting issue, and again today is follow-up on that because he left that repairing mode running. We haven't seen the end of that. Now I went into my Microsoft OneNote to see, I searched for that exact message, and I found 2 hits where I've experienced that in the past, and I have my log of those experiences. One of them was from 2017, the other I think was from 2021, and they were both different results, and I have a number of things to say about that particular circumstance with the issues that he's having, but I'm not going to talk any more about that because he's using that as a challenge to the audience. And I don't have the solution. I just have comments about it. So now, let's see, what was I doing here? I'm trying to get into my Office account so that I can show how those computers are managed. Let's see, go to, this is probably, you know what, I probably should go into that tomorrow. Let's hold that for tomorrow because I'm already over time. And I have someplace I have to be at 10 o'clock. It makes sense. Hello, everyone. Hello, Eileen Novak. Good to see you. Ran Israel. You can reset the entire policy definition. That may reset other things you may wish to keep in place. Bobby Warren tell me Tim had to go to work. Lawn Dog, I think it's a shame hard drive lights seem to be going away. It's an indicator on both laptops and desktops. And yeah, the hard drive activity light is rarely found on new computers. Don't know what Ran Israel is agreeing with there. Lawn Dog, even with my new computer, the NVMe drive 4th gen, I still see it working. Does this machine have a mechanical hard drive? Yes, it does. Eileen says, aw shucks to something, not sure what. Lawn Dog, the laptop I'm working on, older i5, the machine plenty of power for its intended use. At this time, though, I've got to severely disassemble to the point of pulling out circuit boards. That's the one that he's having the speaker problem. I'm going to start skipping through because I am short on time. I will read through these messages later. I'm going to hit the ones for Orange. Alice says she'll double check that, what we've talked about so far. Lawn Dog says, thanks for the reminder about seeing those origin of those pictures. in Bing, ran Israel. If she's using home, it's not a policy issue. I just realized that you need to add edge policy extension, so ignore that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to catch up with those later today when I come back because I've got a client service call to go out on. That's all for now. If you'd like to send a question that myself in the chat room can respond to during Windows Daily Show from Monday through Friday. The Saturday show is longer, about 2 hours in length with Zoom session. And I'm pretty sure we will be cleaning this computer up, which I think is a good thing to show. Even though, yes, it's an older, slower computer, it's still the same concepts for how to speed up a computer and get rid of the clutter. And I also mentioned in that video that about having talked to her about that antivirus that's on there. We're going to remove that because Windows Defender is fine. After I talked with them, they said, oh, that's wonderful, because they were tired of having to keep up with antivirus. Stop talking, Doug. Get out of here. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.